y'all? It's Megan.
What's happening? It is Mace.
And we are back. Oh, you're doing something extra. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We are back with another video about like starting your TTC journey. And for those of you who don't know, TTC is trying to conceive. There's so many abbreviations.
Really is.
In this whole situation. So our trying to conceive journey. And let me say this as a disclaimer. While you may try this at home, please seek a medical professional's advice before making any major decisions, okay?
Yes, this is only things that we did and that worked for us, but obviously it's not a one-size-fit-all type of situation. So make sure, like Megan said, consult with your doctor or just a medical professional, period, before you think these the steps that's gonna guarantee you a little baby, because we can't do that.
We can't, y'all. And although my initials used to be MD, I am not a doctor. Oh, that was good. That was good. Okay, all right. Okay, y'all. So we're gonna jump right into this thing. Okay.
So the first thing I would say that we did, which was imperative, was meet with our OBGYN.
Yes.
And we talked about like our pregnancy goals, like timeline. How much everything costs, what options we had in terms of inseminations. So like whether we should go IUI, ICI, IVF, elemental P, all the other acronyms they have out there. So that was the very first thing, which was very helpful for us.
Yes.
Because there were so many little things that we'll talk about in a second that we didn't even know we needed to do. And like we said before, we'll get more into, I heard my wrist, sorry.
Bless.
We'll get more into that in our actual pregnancy journey video. But yeah, certain things that we did before we even started that kind of helped pave the way and made for, I would say, a smoother process. So talk to your OB about your plans and your goals and what you're trying to do.
Yes, so after you have that conversation with your OB, I would say next steps, excuse me, would be to talk to your insurance company also. Because once you start making decisions on what your preference is, finances and money do come into play then, and can also help determine which route may be better for you.
Yes, and then you also want to see what's covered under your insurance. So let's say, for instance, well, as a matter of fact, like I'll just use mine. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. They don't cover any insemination. So no IUI, no IVF, nothing. And nothing related to actual fertility, but they do cover infertility. So if you have any infertility issues, depending on what type of insurance you have, it should be covered. But again, double check with your insurance company what benefits they offer. But then some insurance companies do, some jobs do cover
not mine,
IUI or IVF or other insemination options. So just double check just to make sure, again, financially you know what you're getting yourself into, so you can plan accordingly, because God knows it's not cheap, y'all.
It ain't cheap. Okay. It ain't cheap. So next, I would say the physical exam part, right? So you want to make sure that you are mentally, physically, all that stuff in a place to conceive. It seems minor, and most people get a yearly physical, but I still think it's important to get an actual physical, OB kind of physical, before you actually start the journey. Little things that you may not know of, that you may not necessarily feel, could actually impact you conceiving.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure, I think you mentioned this on another video, make sure that you're getting your body prepared for your to be pregnant. So you know, eating healthy, exercising, if you have a little drink more often than not, you might want to slow that down. Stress for sure, smoking for sure, all those things can definitely impact your ability to get pregnant. So along with, you know, you seeing your actual doctor, like your primary care, also make sure you're making healthy lifestyle choices that are going to lead you to hopefully getting pregnant. So
yeah, and let me just say, you guys know Mace and I are big advocates for mental health as well.
For sure.
So please make sure that you are also considering a counselor for you and your partner, or if you're choosing to get pregnant alone. Either way, making sure that you're mentally in a place, because it is a life-changing experience, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that that is just as important,
For sure.
right? Is physically being ready, is mentally preparing yourself for the change in your relationship, the change personally in your life, with your job, all those things. Please, please, please.
Okay, the next thing I would say, and this was recommended by our OB, and we had no idea. We had never heard of this test before and wouldn't have ever even thought that we would need it, but it's an HSG test. I'm not going to butcher the name of it, but if y'all just Google HSG, it's like a super duper long name. But basically, it's just to check to make sure your fallopian tubes are open, so that you don't have any blockage there. Also, to make sure you don't have any scar tissue, any like fibroids, any polyps. So what they'll do, you're actually awake. Maybe I should put some of that. I may put some of that footage in one of these videos.
It was hilarious.
But, they just push dye through, so you're awake, and then there's a screen, at least in mine, where you could see if the dye flows into your uterus, and to make sure that it's open, and again your fallopian tubes are open, there's no blockage. That's going to be vital when you want to get pregnant, obviously, because you need your fallopian tubes, or at least one, to be open in order to get like if you do like an IUI. IVF is a little bit different because they bypass that whole process of needing to go, obviously, the sperm needing to go meet the egg. So in that case, not so much, but definitely for IUI. I don't know about ICI or any of the other ones, but as you guys know, we did IUI, and that was very imperative that we did that. Because we found out a lot of information during that test.
We did. It was a one-day procedure, so if you do plan to have it done, do plan to have someone with you.
Yes.
It is in and out. It did not take long, but you will not be able to drive afterwards. So, yeah, I think that test was probably one of the most important ones we got.
I would say that was.
It saved us time. You know what I mean?
It really
because we assumed, one thing, but this really gave us some insight. So please, 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 HSG.
Yes. And I think the last thing I would say is get a genetic test done on yourself and on your partner.
Yes.
So for us, which was also recommended by our initial OB, she told us to make sure we get that done, because when we start looking for donors, you want to make sure that you and your donor are compatible. And then in our case with Megan carrying next, right, Megan? Right,
Megan.
She had. We also had to make sure the donor was compatible for her as well.
Right.
For some people, they do known donors or what have you. But I will always still suggest that you get this genetic testing done, whether you go with an anonymous donor or a known donor. And I say that because let's say specifically for us in the African American community, sickle cell is very prevalent. So as an example, if I had the sickle cell trait, we got a donor who had the sickle cell trait. Neither one of us knew, we did the whole insemination. There's like a 1 in 4 chance that our child could have been conceived with sickle cell. And not just sickle cell, I mean other blood disorders.
Yes.
Other, just diseases or anything.
Right.
So you just kind of want to know, especially for yourself, just to know is good to know. But then also, again, when you look for your donor, you want to make sure you find somebody that's going to be compatible with you and or your partner.
So also that's a good thing to check with your insurance for as well. Sometimes it's covered, sometimes it's not. And it can be kind of pricey. But again, on this journey, finances are big, but you choose what's most important to you.
For sure.
That was an eye-opening experience for me too. I mean, the panel that they do is
very
extensive. And in finding our donor, we wanted that same thing. So again, I echo Mace in those sentiments. Whether you know your donor or you don't, do or don't, please have genetic testing done, and just for your own knowledge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just good to know, like, I mean, because how many of us really know, like, all the I mean, I found out some information that I didn't even know.
Me too.
So it was very insightful. And in terms of cost, how much did you end up paying?
Was it like 2 something?
I think it was like 5.
It was like it would cover certain testing that were done, but once it got to be too extensive, then they no longer covered it. So I think it was under 5.
I think mine was like 2.
2.
Yeah, I think mine was like 200, and then yours was a little more.
It may be a little more than the 2.
Yeah, and then the HSG was covered under my insurance, not all of it. So I think out of pocket, I end up having to pay like 2 something, maybe 3 something.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to give you guys an idea of, this is before you even start. Okay. This is before we even got started.
We ain't bought no sperm. Okay.
We came out probably about $1,000, which is not a lot, but you know, and well worth it just to know this type of information. So yeah, those are our tips.
That was good.
Yeah, hopefully it helps.
Yeah,
we've actually had a lot of people message us on like Instagram and just ask, like, how do we get started? Can y'all do a video on just where to start? So we wanted to make sure that we gave you guys that information, and hopefully it helps. As always, if you guys have any more questions, please drop it in the comments below, and we'll
gladly answer.
Yeah, we'll be sure to get back to you guys. And
then on one of our next videos, we'll definitely go more in depth on the donor process.
You want to introduce him to our baby daddy?
I think y'all should meet our donor.
I think so.
I think he's amazing.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. I mean,
we definitely can't thank him enough.
Okay, that's why we went with him.
Okay.
So yes,
standards are high here.
Okay.
So we will have a meet our baby daddy video sooner than later, and
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, we love y'all.
You know we love y'all.
Thanks for rocking with us. Okay, all right.
It's time. TTC bye. TTC bye.
And I just hate that y'all voted to keep this bye. I'm just like, I don't like none of y'all. So,
but
bye.
Here we go. Bye.
Mace.
Yes.
How you feeling?
Like you're so close to me.
I'm really not that close. No. What's in your hand?
I got a whole IV.
A whole system here.
And I'm trying to see if it is. I don't know.
Sometimes it does itch though.
Oh, does it?
I've had that happen before.
You lying.
I ain't lying.
When have you ever had IV?
Bruh, I've had things go on before.
Well,
Now you ain't the only one ever been to the doctor.
I can't mess around with that. Let me see if the bag moving.
Bag is doing nothing.
I don't think it's in. I got a slow drip.
So she has not had the procedure yet. We're just waiting, getting all set up. She says she has a nice warm toasty blankie here.
Yeah.
Feeling good, feeling great.
Yeah.
So we'll check back in after to see if he's talking crazy.
I'm not gonna be talking crazy.
My favorite, the crazy talk. Okay, sign off.
Signing off. Without talking crazy.
Jesus. All right, guys. So this is post-procedure. Mace, how you feeling?
Oh, I don't know.
She's a little out of it. I didn't get to go back there with her, so I didn't get to record that part. But
There was a lot of kind of picking,
poking and prodding.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure.
Lot
of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's all.
But no pain.
It hurt a little bit.
It hurt a little bit. Yeah. All right. So now I've got to baby you the rest of the day. Perfect. Short-lived, folks.